I want to ask you if you're familiar with Article 1, Section 2 of the Texas Constitution.
I don't memorize everything, so read.
That's fine. I'm not asking you if you believe in independence right now, or should we leave. What I'm asking you is, whose decision is it? Is it we the people, or is it the legislature?
You've asked me a question I've not been asked. You've asked me a question I've not researched, and so I will follow back. And
you have to research it?
Yeah,
I just read the Texas Constitution.
Ma'am, I understand, but there will be a legal opinion on that, and I don't know what that legal opinion is, and I would want to go to the Attorney General and find out what that really says and really means and what the intent is. Reading me something for the first time that I have not looked at, and you're asking me a question, and I'm happy to give you an answer and follow up and give you the answer.
People in power, whether red or blue, they could not care less about Texas, me and you. They created this give me country that don't value hard work. For a Texan to survive, all we need are some seeds and dirt. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Got to save your country, for it's long gone. Texan arise, don't you hear your call? Got to save your country, for it's long gone. We believe in family and we value our community. Gladly lend a helping hand to a neighbor in need. And we don't believe that government should provide for all of society's needs. No, it's the pride of a Texan to give to others voluntarily. Texan arise, don't you hear your call? Gotta save your country, for it's long gone. Texan arise, don't you hear your call? Save your country, for it's long gone. They like our tax dollars, and they love our natural resources. They don't want to see us driving trucks, they'd rather see us riding horses. And now they want to ban our guns, you know, especially the ones that look scary. But may I remind you of the Gonzales Cannon and the Alamo heroes we buried. Texan arise, don't you hear your call? Got to save our country, for it's long gone. Texan arise, don't you hear your call? Got to save our country, for it's long gone. This last verse is straight from the Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 1 and 2. Look it up. Texas is an independent state, yet presently we suffer. We no longer possess the right to locally self-govern. And now it's time as a people in which all political power is inherent. And in such manner we find expedient, we reform or abolish our government. I said, Texan arise, don't you hear your call? Got to save your country, for it's long gone. Texan arise, don't you hear your call?
According to the U.S. Department of the Treasury, the national debt broke records Friday when the total climbed over $19 trillion.
That's a $56,000 burden for each of us.
President Obama is set to unveil a $4 trillion budget for 2016.
Wisconsin U.S. Senator Ron Johnson says that we could add $126 trillion in new debt over the next 30 years.
You're looking at an unemployment rate around 23%.
I have to feed my family, and I think a lot of people around the United States feel the same way.
And right now I live in a country where the government does whatever it wants to do.
You don't hear too many elected officials talking about it because if they actually describe that harsh reality, we'll have to do something about it, and that's not real popular.
The Texas Nationalist Movement is in the middle of a cross-state campaign tonight to push for independence, and
they believe Texas could make it on its own.
Texans are tired of answering to bureaucrats in D.C. that they didn't elect.
They want to take Texas back.
We'd be the 46th largest country in the world, the 17th leading oil producer, the 15th largest economy. We've got our own Air Force. They build F-16s in Fort Worth. Wonder what Sam Houston would think.
Independence. I like that.
These folks think Texas' sunniest days are ahead.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is Late Night Coffee Talk, and it is my normal weekly routine to share one evening's cup of coffee with you, probably more, right? You guys know I consume a lot of coffee. And, normally it takes place every Wednesday night, but last night it didn't happen. And so I'm here for the makeup. Honestly, guys, I mean, I literally have control of the buttons. I could not have even shown up. I said, you know what? I'll just do it next week. But I'm here. This is my makeup for last night. And my apologies to any of you that were expecting to tune in last night, and I was not there. There's no excuse, right? There's no excuse. There really is. There's a reason it happened, but there is no excuse. And so my apologies for those of you that came here wanting to talk Texit. But here I am. I made up for it. I even sent an email out to the email list, like right before this started. Said, hey, come on. Let's come do this, right? So, we're going to have a chunk of folks on here that may not have ever seen one of these. So for those of you that have not, let me introduce myself. My name is Daniel Miller, president of the Texas Nationalist Movement. And this is, as I said, my weekly decompress where you guys know I keep maybe you do, maybe you don't. I keep really, really ridiculous hours. I mean, I work a lot, and I drink this from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, and it keeps me motivated, and I have become a bit of a coffee connoisseur, not a snob, right? I'll take it any way I can get it. But this is my opportunity to share with you guys, answer your questions, and we've got the chat rolling. So let me go through the preview, the housekeeping, and we'll just get right down to it. And I'm going to share something with you guys before we get to Q&A because guys, it's been a bit of a week. Like the last 10 days have been pretty surreal. Okay, so we'll get to that here in a minute. And I know you're probably thinking about, well, we're talking about Afghanistan or the Supreme Court refusing to hear the abort. None of that. I think we're all pretty much squared away on that. Something else is happening on the Texit front, and yours truly that I'm having a difficulty processing. But we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let's get down to it. First of all, we are again streaming across 10 different streaming platforms. 10 different outlets tonight. And so I'm not going to hit all of them, but we are right now YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, well, Periscope by Twitter, Twitch. We're on our Roku channel. We are kind of all over the place. And yes, we are working on getting on Rumble. So that's next on the hit parade. And we still don't have the magic formula for this Instagram live thing. We tried it last week and it did not work. So we'll see. We'll get the propeller heads. We'll get together. We'll get it fixed. That being said, if you're joining us on YouTube, sure would appreciate if you liked and subscribed, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you get a ding every time we go live or every time we post a new video. And really subscribe to our YouTube channel. That has become a phenomenal source of outreach for us. And we've got tons of videos in production. Of course, a lot of the video production here lately has been going into launching the T&M Academy, right? Which we can talk about here in a minute, but keyword T&M Academy. If you are joining on Facebook, be sure to do all of those Facebook things of like and comment and share. And you know, that helps make sure that you see our posts there. And then, of course, if you're on Twitter, do all the Twitter things that, you know, people on Twitter do. I spend time over there. I mean, I know how it works, but, you know, Twitter people don't like to be told to retweet and all that. You guys understand how it works. So go do that thing if you're there right now. And look, across all of our social media platforms, please be sure to give us follows, give us likes, anything you can. And when you see posts from us, please do everything you can to share. You know, yeah, we pay for advertising. Yes, we have a very aggressive on the ground outreach campaign, but you know, the fact of the matter is that Each One Teach One has been the only way throughout the 15 years of the T&M's history that we've been able to combat the silent treatment from the media and some of these other folks. So the only way to beat them is to go out there and do the hard work. No one ever said this was going to be easy, right? No one ever said it's going to be easy. But when the sum total of the work that we're asking you to do sometimes is just click a button, please do. I mean, it really helps. And just so you know, I'll throw these graphics up there. There is our Facebook, and you'll see the N there, Texas, NATMOV. It is actually the same thing for Twitter. If you are looking for us on any social media outlets, that's almost always going to be our username where you can find our social media presence. And that includes Getter and Parler and MeWe, and I mean, literally all of them, right? So as you guys decide you want to spin one up and think you may go over there, we go over there and we establish a beachhead, because you never know when folks like us could be deplatformed, right? So you got to hedge your bets. I'm not wrong. You know I'm not wrong. It could happen. All right. That being said, a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, we do have Super Chat enabled, which means that you can send us a message, drop some coin in the donation, and help us continue to spread the word of Texas independence. Man, I'm going to tell you, petition campaigns are expensive. Petition campaigns are brutally expensive. Just so you guys know, and I'm going to share this with y'all, before we launched the petition campaign, we actually got a quote from a firm that's what they do, right? They literally, as a company, they go in, they deploy petition collectors. I mean, that's what they do. And the price tag to take ours across the finish line was just a hair under $1 million. I mean, it's not cheap, right? So so we're doing what they say we can't do, which is we're going to knock it out with volunteers. And that reminds me, before I move on to the news of the day and the things that have really just kind of flipped my wig. Funny statement, right? Over the last week, a reminder that we are deep in the Texas petition campaign, and we need you. If you are not helping us collect signatures, we need all hands on deck right now. Texas supporters, you got to help us get this on the ballot, and the only way we're going to do that is not, people waiting to sign or hoping that somebody else will take care of it. But if each of us takes on an active role and helps collect signatures, our target is 1,000. And frankly, folks, we're behind target on getting petition circulators. And so our petition circulators that are out there busting their tails to make up the difference are less than happy with some of the bench warmers or the spectators. What I'm about to say is going to make Beverly Alford very happy. Sam Houston did not win San Jacinto with a bunch of cheerleaders, right? You don't win games sitting in the bleachers and shaking pom-poms. You win by getting out there and doing the things necessary to win. And in this instance, that requires every one of us to step up and do something as simple as watch 30 minutes worth of videos to learn how to collect the signatures, print out some sheets of paper, and open our mouths. That's literally the way that it works, right? So head over to tnm.me/petition right now and find out all you need to find out about the petition campaign, where you can sign, where you can become a petition circulator, all of those things. You're going to want to knock that out ASAP so we can cross the finish line together. I mean, imagine we do this. We collect the signatures we need to collect, and in spring of next year, Texans will be able to go to the polls and cast their ballot and answer the question, should the state of Texas reassert its status as an independent nation? I mean, how great is that? Do you realize how history-making that is, right? So help us make history. Let's get this done, okay? tnm.me/petition. All right. Before I get to the chat, I have to share this with you guys. Last 10 days have been very surreal for me. Not going to lie. So you guys know, the day before Coffee Talk last week, the team got together and had a virtual kind of celebration of my 25th anniversary of getting in the fight for Texas independence. And it was very humbling. It was exciting, but very humbling to see and hear some of the things. And it was not about patting Daniel Miller on the back or putting him on a pedestal, but it was folks sharing their stories about how they have been inspired to go out and fight for Texas independence, and just grateful people. And sometimes that's worth it. To hear someone say, you know what, thanks. I acknowledge that your entire adult life was derailed by crossing that line in the sand and probably not what you wanted to do. So just, thank you. I mean, that's nice. That's a nice thing to hear. And I got to tell you, pretty rare. It has been 25 years as an underdog. It gives you a certain kind of mindset, and that mindset is not necessarily expecting gratitude, right? You always enter the fight with that revolutionary kind of underdog mindset that there is a way to win, and you're gonna stay in it until you win it, right? Back to Travis's signature, his closing on his letter, victory or death, right? No matter the odds, you're always going to continue to believe that there is a path to victory. And of course, for us, I mean, it's never been more clear that Texas independence is the way forward. I mean, it literally is an existential matter for us, right? We win, Texas continues to exist. We lose, and Texas as we know it goes away forever, right? I mean, so it doesn't get any more clear, any more black and white than this thing right here. So, we're at that time because the people of Texas are realizing. So I came off of that experience, and I have a hard time processing those sorts of things. Well, So something else happened as well, and I have not really shared this with anyone, but I was summoned onto a Zoom, video conference, and I was presented with some friendly faces, right? Not specifically from the TNM's national leadership team, but people that are involved in other organizations, very strong foundation of constitutional republic, very ideologically aligned with what we're doing in the TNM, organizations that I had spoken at their events, or some that I hadn't. And they got me on there. And I know they did this because they wanted to see me look like I'd been slapped in the face with a sock full of wet crap, right? Just stunned. And I was. And essentially what happened is they all got together and signed, they wrote and signed an open letter. Now, that letter eventually made it online, and that has been the source of really, just like I said, a humbling process. There's been a lot of things happening. So I'm going to share it with you guys tonight, and I'm going to put some of the rumor mill to rest, and some of the rumor mill is probably going to spin up like a Las Vegas slot machine by the time this is over with. Okay, but let me share this with you. So that letter made it onto this website called standfortexas.com. And let me do it this way. We'll go picture in picture, so maybe it'll be a little bit easier for you guys to see. And honestly, let me just blow it up. Okay. Now you guys can go read the letter in total, but here's what it is. It is an open letter to me. That's me, Daniel Miller, from conservative grassroots leaders across Texas. And I'm just going to take a couple of little excerpts, and I want you to understand, just hearing these words read to me on that Zoom. It says, Texas stands on the verge of losing its sovereignty to the despotic central government in Washington, D.C. The government that exists today was not the one agreed to by the Republic of Texas when it joined the federal union in 1845. Local self-government is unquestionably and critically impaired at this time in history. The status quo must change, and we need leaders who are willing to stand up for the rights of Texans against federal tyranny. Now, before I go on, I want to draw your attention to this statement right here. Local self-government is unquestionably and critically impaired at this time in history. Now, let me tell you, for those of you that have not heard me talk about these particular things, you hear us talk an awful lot about Article 1, Section 2, right? All political powers inherent in the people, but we will almost always spit it out as Article 1, Sections 1 and 2, right? Together. And it starts off with the words, Texas is a free and independent state. That's Article 1, Section 1. But the end of Article 1, Section 1 talks about the perpetuity of the Union, aka the continued existence of the Union, depends on the right of local self-government unimpaired to all the states, right? So effectively, in the sphere of what we do, Article 1, Section 1 provides a trigger mechanism. It provides what is essentially the only litmus test in our Constitution for when, according to our Constitution, the Union is broken, the Union is over, okay? So it sets the criteria. Article 1, Section 1, when the right of local self-government has become impaired, okay? So, our case has always been, that we don't, all of these facts and figures, the things that we throw out is really secondary to the fact that our right of local self-government has been impaired. Now, what does that impaired mean? It effectively means that our right of local self-government has been taken, right? It's been blunted. But even more than that, right? I mean, these are not minor transgressions against our right of self-government. These are major, where our right of local self-government has been stolen from us and taken from us and usurped by a federal government bent on absolute domination and control. Okay? So to see this phrase in there, to hear that coming through, just it blew my mind, because I'm going to tell you, until we were talking about Article 1, Sections 1 and 2, no one was. I mean, there's the famous story of when I quoted it to David Dewhurst when he was lieutenant governor in his office, and he got up to get a copy of the Constitution and made me say it again so he could read along and I guess fact check me, and then was blown away that it was in the Constitution. So much so that 5 other state senators came in. He's like, guys, you got to hear this. And then he made me do it again. And he's following along, pointing in the book. And he's like, did you guys know this? So, to see that, I mean, you want to talk about just blown away. So the open letter goes on to categorize a lot of the internal challenges we have here, right? Not just the external federal, but the internal that we have as well. And essentially in this letter, they're acknowledging what I think we all understand, is that the lockdowns and the things that are happening, that we've been experiencing over the past couple of years, kind of the flaccid response to federal overreach, a lot of the constitutional overreach that's happening right here in Texas, doesn't fall it's not the sole responsibility of Greg Abbott, right? He had to have willing accomplices. I mean, let's not forget that Ag Commissioner Sid Miller sued Dan Patrick because of the restrictions they placed at the Capitol on being able to come testify and visit the Senate gallery unless you were COVID tested. Like literally, you had to go through a tent at the Capitol and get the swab. And, we all know the horrible accuracy of those things, right? So it just became sort of a way that they could kind of make it so inconvenient that people wouldn't participate. But this is the thing that really got me, folks. It's this statement right here, because when it came out of their mouth, I almost fell on the floor. It says, with this in mind, we call upon Daniel Miller to take up the mantle of Texas Liberty and oust Dan Patrick in the Republican primary for Lieutenant Governor of Texas. Now, this is not the first time that I've heard this, that I have been asked about this issue. I've been asked about it on Coffee Talks, on these live broadcasts, for almost 3 months on the road. When I would go speak, I was asked whether or not I would consider, right? But this is a little bit different because they're calling, right? This is not an ask. They're laying out the case and they're calling. And I'm going to tell you, this is, if I thought the 25th anniversary thing was humbling, this one was about as humbling as it gets. This is not anything that I ever expected to be having to contemplate, not by any stretch of the imagination. I never considered this, right? Because in the position and the role that I have to play as the tip of the spear for the cause of Texas independence, you kind of get used to the fact that you have to say and do some things that would make people maybe think twice before asking you to run for an elected office. Now, I did it, right? 2012, I ran for state representative. But this is a whole other ballgame. This is a whole other ballgame. I mean, we're talking about a statewide office, and at a time when the position that Texas is in is very critical. And I'll just draw your attention to this one statement. You can't see it on the screen now because it's too small, but I'll read it. It says, during the next term, we can reasonably predict all-out assaults on medical freedom, gun rights, private property, religious liberty, and other inalienable rights. And I'm going to tell you that right there is absolutely the truth. Absolutely the truth. And they conclude the letter by saying, Daniel, stand for us, stand for our rights, stand for Texas. And you guys know that that's all that's what I've done. I mean, 25 years. That's been my thing, not because it's easy, not because it's a hobby, but because I made an oath, I made a decision, and this is where it led, right? We're on the cusp of achieving Texas independence. So, not only that, they went on to sign it, and God bless you, Andy Hopper, and the Roberts over there, Hopper and Amanda over there in Wise County, and the Roberts over there in Grayson County, and I mean everyone who signed this. People that I've met, some I have, some I haven't. Stephen Callis with his According to Callis podcast. Which what we need to do is we need to talk to Stephen about maybe doing something on our YouTube channel. But, Rebecca here, I mean, just all these people, some people I've known, Tom Glass, Chris Bro, who up until very recently was a member of the SREC, the State Republican Executive Committee, members of the TNM's advisory board, like Dr. Jack Reynolds, our good friend, Jeff Siddiqui. I mean, just, these names. And then these organizations signed off too. So, folks, as you can imagine, I have got a lot of thinking to do. I have got a lot of thinking to do. So that is now there. StandForTexas.com, and if you agree with them, go there and add your name. I'm not saying that this is the direction that things are headed. I still have a lot of thinking, a lot of discussing, a lot of praying to do. But I didn't share that for that purpose. But I did want you to understand that, we're in such critical times right now. We're in such critical times that the people of Texas are rising up and they're ready for a change. The same old is not going to cut it, right? This garbage that we keep getting shoved down our throats, that we should settle for guys like Abbott and Patrick and, those reprobates up there in the Texas House of Representatives who denied us the ability to even vote on Texas, wouldn't even touch the bill, wouldn't even let you speak in committee on that bill, right? We're at a critical time. The future of Texas stands on the edge of a knife. And so I can tell you at any other time, I would not have taken, I would have been flattered, right? I probably would have never considered this because that is not the path. Never saw myself doing anything like that. People have said all the time, you want to be president of Texas, you want to be governor. It's like, nope. When this is done, I'm done. But this is a call out. It's a call out to step up and to do something much like we're doing right now with the petition campaign and with our effort, our Take Texas Back campaign to get candidates to run for office, specifically in the Texas legislature. And man, we got some great ones. So, I feel pushed a little bit in that direction to set a leadership example. But there are a lot of other contingencies too, man. There's a lot. This is a major thing to decide. And so there it is. So you want to know what's been rattling around in this noodle for the last week? Now you know. This has been it's been one for the books, folks. The last 10 days have been incredible and life-changing. So very interesting. StandForTexas.com. All right, so let's go to your questions. Chat is scrolling. For those of you just joining us or coming in late, I am about to go to chat right now. You can comment on this video on Facebook. I think you can tweet at us on Twitter. I think we got Twitch comments open as well. And of course, on YouTube, chat is always open. And there we have Super Chat. So I am going to scroll up and let's see what we see. I mean, there's so many on here right now. I might as well just spin the wheel, right? Okay. Wow, man, you guys are crushing it. Lots of questions tonight. Yep. Already, it's the Social Security question. How does this happen? I mean, it literally every time, everywhere I go, I get asked the Social Security question about Texas. I'm not going to answer the Social Security question, but what I am going to do is I'm going to direct you to our website. If you have any questions about sort of the mechanics of Texas, what happens to this program, that program, what do we do about passports, military travel, any of those things, go to our website, go to tnm.me/Texit, where we answer all of your Texit questions. I think we're up to well over 100 of the most asked questions related to Texit. And look, I wrote a book. It's called Texit: Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. It is available on the TNM website. You could also get it. You could also help Jeff Bezos buy some more rocket fuel, or Barnes and Noble. I don't know that they're doing anything, but it's there too. So go get your copy of Texit. Okay, well, I think I have scrolled as much to the top as I could get. Hey, Tex, thank you for your super chat for the cause. We do appreciate you. Edward, what is the chance of this getting on the ballot? If you want to get it on a ballot, our plan, go to tnm.me/petition. The petition effort right now, we cross the threshold of signatures. By law, they have to put it on the primary ballot. So there's that. Someone's saying, but wouldn't the U.S. embargo? Nope, that's covered. Mike, thank you so much for your super chat. I do appreciate that. And of course, to another Michael, thank you for your super chat. Someone asked, how many signatures do we have and how many more needed? We need a lot more. A lot more. We've got CPCs, certified petition circulators that are still getting signatures, haven't turned them in. Well, we got a lot of petition circulators that are sitting on the big goose egg, right? That signed up right at the early and have turned in none. So that's why we need lots and lots of petition circulators. We need lots of them. Many hands make light work. So go out there and get it done. Okay. And look, guys, it's restricting me. I can't scroll back any farther. So I'm just kind of starting where it's letting me. Okay. Hey, Tammy, my old school chum, thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. I mean, this is getting crazy. Hey, Twister. Okay, let's see this. And thank you for your super chat. Here we go. I got a letter back from my state representative saying that the bill Kyle Biederman introduced didn't cover healthcare infrastructure or anything the federal government focuses on. What do I do now? Well, first and foremost, if they read the bill, they would know what it does, right? It was not a withdrawal bill. It was a bill to start the process to essentially set up the legislative committee to deal with all that. And literally, those issues were lined out. Do you know how I know those issues were lined out in the bill? Because I wrote them. I put them in there. These fingers typed on that keyboard and put those words in there. So what that tells me is your representative either didn't read the bill or is full of crap. No two ways about it. But if they're using that as an excuse to deny you the ability to even vote on the issue, then you got to ask yourself, if they would violate your fundamental rights under Article 1, Section 2 of the Texas Constitution, what other rights of yours are on the chopping block when they decide that they don't want to read a bill, right? Or want to pretend like they don't know what it says. So, hey, sorry your rep wimped out like that. But, look, we worked on that bill hard to get it right and to make sure that issues like that were covered. Okay. Phil got my attention. I can roast a special Texas Secession coffee for you. Phil, deal. Send me an email after it's over with. I got to have some Texas Independence coffee. Okay. Okay, here we go. Jesse. Hey, Jesse. Yeah, it's great. Thank you for being here. Edward says we need to be independent within 3 years. No, we need to be independent in negative 25 years. And then I would not have had to spend my life doing these things and trying to convince people that we needed to do this. Tech says quite a lively chat. Very true. Norma says very disappointed in getting representation and help to getting the word out in the Southeast area. Norma, not sure what you mean, but if you reach out to the office, go to the website, you can connect with all kind of people. You can't walk out of your house and throw a rock without hitting a Texas supporter, and that is the truth. Trust me, I just loaded a massive data set into our block walking software and saw the map. I learned about people that were supporters that literally live in my neighborhood that I've never seen at a meetup. I have not met in person, but literally 10, 15 houses that way. Okay. Hey, lots of events. I see people talking about events in the chat, and I want to remind everyone, look, every event that the TNM is having now is literally a petition signing event, right? So whether it's a meetup or a social gathering, outreach, everything now is a petition signing event. So you can go there, find one on the calendar, find one of our petition circulators at that meeting. Trust me, they are not they are not hidden. They're not hiding anywhere. They wear the CPC shirt. They're the people with the clipboards and the pens in their hands, right? They will probably find you. You walk in the door, you're gonna get asked to sign the petition, no matter what the event is. So go to tnm.me/events. Let's see if I got one of those little cards up here. I don't. Man, I'm slacking. That is terrible. Anyway, tnm.me/events. Go get your signature on the paper and go meet other independence supporters. All right. I'm catching up. Can you guys tell? Oh, wow, Douglas. Hey, Douglas, thank you so much for your super chat. I really do appreciate that. That is going to help us out considerably. Yona says, thank you, sir, for all the fighting you've done, the fight for my future. We need more like you. Yona, let me tell you, okay, so you guys may see this in YouTube, but Yona was one of the videos that was submitted during our virtual testimony for House Bill 1359 that I talk about on the road all the time, like in places where, we can do those sorts of things. His testimony was his virtual testimony on House Bill 1350, the Texas bill, was incredible. And I brag on it all the time. So, no, Yona, thank you. Matter of fact, if you want to see it, you may have to wait a bit. But if you go to our Roku channel, right? If you download our Roku channel and go there, we are streaming we still stream all that testimony. It's on a loop. So you can go there. You can see the virtual testimony on 1359, or you can go to our website at tnm.me/HB1359, and it's streaming there as well. Okay, let's roll through. Let's see what we got here. Man, you got whoever said the chat was lively tonight was not kidding. I mean, not kidding. So thank you guys all so much for being on here tonight. I'm scrolling, folks. I'm trying to catch up. Beverly, thank you for the super chat. The aforementioned Beverly offered. I knew she was going to like the quote, and I'm glad you reminded me of it the other week, because sometimes things come out of my mouth that maybe I don't remember. So thank you for that. Okay. Yeah, it's something about the Sam Houston not winning with cheerleaders. I mean, that's just the way it is. Okay, guys, I am definitely scrolling. We're getting man. I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna have a moderator in here just to moderate the chat. Man, you guys are really. People are okay. So I am. Beverly's. Don't start the Daniel Miller for lieutenant governor yet. The decision has not been made. Like I said, I'm going to be able to tamp some rumors down, but probably start some more. And, it's going to be fun. If the decision is yes, if we decide yes, understand that we're a slate. Our TNMers are running as a team. I'm running standing shoulder to. I would stand shoulder to shoulder with all of our candidates because we got to win. We got to win. You know, it's not just about some specific political office. It's about we got to win Texas. It's existential, really. All right, rolling. Oh man, you guys are definitely, you're gonna make me blush. And you know, I'm of Greek descent. Do you know how hard it is for me to blush? It's very difficult. Wow, man, you guys are just too kind. That's all I can say. Um, and honestly, what's amazing is right now you don't have a lot of questions. Hey, Sky, thank you for the super chat for Texas. Amen. Amen. Let's go win. You know, I one of the things I sign, you know, because I hand autograph, when you buy a book from the TNM website, it says autographed, and I have to sign. Here are my Sharpies. I literally sit right here, and every one that you get through the TNM website, I sign. And even with my first book, Line and Sand, those two words for Texas have been kind of my stock. Now I'll sign other things, Texas First, Texas Forever. If I know specifically who the book's going to, I'll personalize it. I mean, just whatever's kind of on my heart at the time. But for Texas is the one that I go to all the time because that's what this is for. I should have brought the entire coffee carafe in here. I really should have. James, he's got a Texas question. Wow. Okay. James says, "What will happen to 100% veterans? I for one am for succession, but will be left stripped." Actually, you won't. If you go to tnm.me/Texit and you look, there's a section there dealing specifically with, I think it's listed as healthcare, social services, and I think that one may even be in the military and defense part as well. But there is an article. I don't want to call it an article because it sounds like it's in a newspaper, but there is a post in there that deals specifically with veterans pension benefits and disabled veterans benefits via the VA. And what you'll find with a lot of these is there's already existing federal policy that deals with, let's say that you decided to move out of the country, right? You decided to just move to, say, Mexico, right? You felt like your money would go farther there, so you moved to Mexico. There's already federal policy that covers when veterans that are 100% disabled or have pension benefits, when they move out of the United States, what happens to those benefits? And so go look, tnm.me/Texit, and your answer is there. Okay. Yeah. Daniel says Texas is ground zero for what's going to happen to the rest of America. As Texas goes under, the rest of America will follow. Look, there. Now I said this. Okay, I am the patron saint of "I told you so." Right? I mean, it's literally, when I die and am buried, you're going to be able to go and you're going to see my headstone, and it's going to have Daniel Miller, and it's going to have my birth date, and it's going to have my death date, and it's going to have underneath it, it's going to say, "I told you I was sick," right? That's I'm the patron saint of "I told you so," because literally, we talked about this in the run up to the presidential election, in all those months, and almost a little over a year ahead. As we started going through and piecing these statements together, it was increasingly obvious that there were a lot of backhanded comments that were directed squarely at Texas. I mean, they didn't have to say us by name, right? I don't have to tell you it's a duck if I tell you that it's got a bill and it's got feathers and it swims and it's got webbed feet, right? That's essentially what happened. And we sounded the alarm. We said over and over, Texas is in the crosshairs. But you know why? Because Texas has always been in the crosshairs. This is nothing new, right? So many people forget the cap and trade garbage that was a virtually a direct assault on the Texas energy sector. I mean, it was a direct assault. And you know what? That finally got really shot down, but really did it? Because one of the I think it was the vice chair of the ERCOT board, what was he known for? Right? Go do a little background on why we had Snowpocalypse 2021. And one of the reasons was we had an ERCOT board full of non-Texans, and the vice chair, his academic background was the study of carbon credit auction markets. Right? What is that? Cap and trade. Right? So, you defeat the public aspect of the policy, and these guys are like a cancer. They just worm their way in. If you're going to let them in through the gate, that's not securing anything, right? These guys stand up, rail against cap and trade, let snakes like this come in, right? They just kind of backhand it to where nobody knows about it. So, Biden and the rest of those guys, this was no surprise. When they started beating the war drums about the Green New Deal, and everybody thought, well, that's so fruity, that's so left wing, so Marxist, nobody's going to touch it. Now, it's almost the law of the land. I mean, they're swinging enough political clout that maybe with some few minor changes, they'll be able to probably institute serious, significant portions of the Green New Deal. And what does that attack? Well, that attacks the Texas energy sector and the ag sector combined, right? The two largest economic sectors in Texas. So, it's always going to be an assault. I mean, literally in the last 6 weeks, Biden has called out Texas by name twice, once over the border and now once over this abortion law that was passed. He called us out by name. He literally said he's gathering up federal resources to combat what Texas is doing. Oh, there was a third time too over the mask issue, right? The governor issued an executive order saying schools could not force students to wear masks. And, you can debate the right or wrong of that if you want to. But one thing that's not up for debate tonight, right here on this coffee talk, is Biden's response, which was the Department of Education going around and saying, you don't have to obey the laws of your state. You're going to obey us. And we say you can do whatever you want to, usurping the authority of the state. So it's been coming. All right. Let's scroll down through here. You know what? Somebody just, I'm not sure who this is in YouTube, but they corrected me. I was not asked the Social Security question at our the Lubbock stop on our last Texas tour. I was not asked. So not every meeting. Fair point. Okay. All right. Hey, Viva, thank you so much for your super chat. It says, God grant me, hey, you're quoting Nimitz. I like it. God grant me the courage not to give up what I think is right, even though I think it is hopeless. Well, you see, here's the deal. I don't think it's hopeless. I don't. The winds are at our back and have been, right? I mean, it seemed like an uphill climb 25 years ago, seemed like an uphill climb 15 years ago. But, it's always uphill till you get to the summit, right? It's always an uphill climb. So, the fact of the matter is that our success is kind of in our hands. That was the contention that I made in the book. The numbers are on our side. The international geopolitical trends for the last 70 years are on our side. The political winds are in our favor and have been for quite some time. So, the question becomes, well, what's really stopping us? And honestly, I've said this time and time again, the number one opponent for Texas independence has been Texans, right? Not now, right? That not now, because that's not where we're at. And when I say Texans, I don't mean that's Texans opposed to it. I mean, it's Texans that ultimately did not believe we could do it. And so much of the work that we had to do was to dispel all of that, to encourage and to connect. The opposition loves to make us feel isolated and alone and like, this is so fringy, but it's like, how is this a fringe issue, right? When in 2014, okay, think about 2014. In 2014, they do the poll, ask the question, 54% Republicans, half of independent voters, and 35% of Democrats said they wanted Texas to leave the Union. How is that a fringe issue? I mean, by what criteria, objective criteria, do those numbers translate into extreme and fringe? See, this is why when we get these crazy people, especially elected officials, right? Those are the guys that burn my butt on this the most. When they get on and they talk about the idea of Texas independence being extreme and being fringe and nobody believes in it, that's why it tears me up. Because we're out there amongst the people. We know, and I said it to someone earlier, you can't walk out of your house, throw a rock without hitting a Texas supporter, right? I don't need the poll numbers to tell me that. I see it every day. I see it every day. So anyway, I digress. Trust me, it ain't hopeless. It's hard, but hard is not hopeless. Hard is just hard. Anything that is worthwhile is not easy. It's truth. But the harder we have to fight, the more we're definitely going to cherish it on the other side. And I guarantee that. Somebody says, goodness gracious, concentrate, less coffee. No, sir. This is coffee talk. I have my coffee. I am talking, and I am concentrating and talking about. When this is all over with, go back to the beginning. You'll understand this is my decompress. I talk about the things that are on my mind. Okay. Scrolling down through. Man, you guys, hey, and thank y'all so much for, I see y'all jumping in there and handling some of these other questions. And thank y'all so much. I'm new. Thank you for your 25 years of, in YouTube. That was a really nice comment. Thank you for recognizing the service. I appreciate it. Someone says, who would replace you? I don't know what that means. I don't know if you're talking to me or what, but I do not understand your question. Christopher, and I know this is about the petition, and he's spot on. He says, everyone has 5 to 10 friends that you know that would sign. And it's true. Like literally, if you're looking for a place, right? If you're looking at the events and there's not one there are no petition circulators near you on the map, go be a petition circulator. Sign your own petition because you're allowed to do that. Sign your own petition. Take it to 5, 6, 7 other people you know that might be interested in signing it. Collect their signature. Notarize the pages and send them in. Boom, done. It's done. And that we're that much closer. And when you figure out how easy it is, I mean, what I ought to do, I probably ought to get some folks on here. We've got a guy right now who is, and I think I talked about it, but we got one of the CPCs who's been collecting signatures, and I think so far he's collected over 1,000 himself. So far. So incredible. Okay. So let's roll it. Okay, Doc, thank you for your super chat. I do appreciate it. Yes, and get your friends to sign, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. I see Conroe is in the house. That is fantastic. Yeah, you guys are doing all your check-ins. This is wonderful. Somebody says you can bail me some coffee. I'm look, if you want, I will never turn down personal gifts of coffee. It will not happen. Okay. Hey Frank, thank you for your super chat. Here's his message. Llano County stands with the TNM, and we sure do love you guys out there, and thank you for standing with us. I'm looking forward to getting back out that way very soon. It's been, golly, I can't tell you when I was in that county proper. I am going to be out in the hill country, out in Fredericksburg, coming up. I think it's September, maybe. I don't know. It's on the events calendar. Go check out the events calendar. Okay, B. Your initial is B. What happens to those currently serving in the U.S. military from Texas? That is also covered on our website at tnm.me/Texit. We have an entire section dealing with military and defense and what happens, but kind of the high points are this. Very likely, as part of this, anyone currently serving in the military would have to fulfill their contract. Then afterwards, I mean, they would obviously have the opportunity to enlist in the Texas military the Texas Military Department. But then we probably wind up working together with the remaining United States under a mutual defense agreement. So definitely something to think about. Kevin says he'd like to sign. He's in Aubrey. There may be someone close. I would encourage you to go look on our website, tnm.me/petition. Michael says, don't be shy about sharing this movement. I found out about it from an LSU fan site message board. The person that shared a link to the website was a Texas A&M fan. You never know where you'll find support. Exactly. Don't be shy. Be unapologetic, unashamed, unabashed. Be a Texas Nationalist. Man, you guys are really covering a lot of these tonight. So in the chat proper. So thank you. Okay. Billy says, are there no signing events near North Austin? I know there are petition circulators around the Austin area. I do not know if there are any events in particular there. Again, just because an event is not on the calendar now doesn't mean that we haven't had one there and will not be having one there soon. We've got a massive thing planned, so you're definitely going to want to make sure you're receiving our emails. We've got a massive signing day, and I can't say any more than that because we haven't even really kind of talked to everybody that's involved, all the stakeholders and principals yet. So, but something's getting ready a big signing day, so just be prepared. Okay, I am scrolling through. Texit the platform, Texit the ticket. Tara says, I called TNM and got a meet set up in my area. Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Like, connect with us, connect with your district director. You may have a local coordinator in your area. We'll connect. I mean, look, let's get these things going, right? Hey, and thank you, CC Gaming. I appreciate that. I really do. Bobby says, how many books have you signed this year? Oh, wow. That's a great question. Obviously I have to sign at every event that we do because we take books when we have them. We had a very difficult time there for a while keeping Texit books in stock, right? The TNM has their stock. As the author, I have a separate stock, and I was having to pull out of the author stock for the TNM to fill the gap, right? And then, of course, the book is out there and all those other areas, but the autographed ones are for me or for the TNM. And I know that the TNM has, between me personally, the TNM website, TNM events, I've probably done more books in the last 6 months than in the previous year. So even a year ahead of that. But honestly, that started even before the election. We noticed this sudden sort of like starting in September, October of last year, about a year ago, started watching it, man. And all of a sudden it's like, where are all these books coming from? There was a lot of Amazon was selling out of them. So, I mean, it's been pretty incredible, but I sign enough that I go through Sharpies pretty regularly. But I don't have a count on that. Sorry. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, guys, and if I miss your question, I'm sorry. I'm having to scroll through, just try to catch up. There is a lot going on. Norma says she has an extra book. If someone's in her area, LaPorte, Deer Park, Baytown, or Passage, get down, Dina. Okay, there we go. Yes, click below the video, like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Hey, Doc, thank you for your $5. Uh, that's very flattering. He says, at the Wise County Conservative rally, I called you president because you're the only political leader in my life I consider a president. I mean it. Thank you very much. That's quite flattering. And thank you for the gift of coffee because, as I have stated, it's always welcome. Okay, Martha's asking about Medicare, also covered at tnm.me/Texit. Sorry, guys, working through. And yes, there we go. Found it. Hey, look, let me also say this too. Let me make this because I mentioned this, but really did not elaborate. We have our effort going right now to recruit candidates to run for office, right? That filing window is getting ready to open in November, unless they have problems with redistricting, right? If they have problems with redistricting, it'll be shifted, but that window opens in November. And so, if anything that we have done has inspired you to talk about these things, to get out there and get some representation, then go out there, run for office, volunteer, run for office. I did it in 2012, right? I ran for state rep, and got out there and gave it absolute holy hell. I mean, it was amazing. And it was a phenomenal experience, but we need as many candidates as possible running in this next cycle. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right. Sorry, guys. I had to do a little moderation. That's fun. Okay, let me roll this back up here. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I lost my spot. This is not fun. Okay, so joy of joys. Yeah, now I've really well and gone and lost my spot. So let's see if I can catch up. I'll come back over here. Now, unfortunately, this is going to make it a little bit more difficult, but we'll get it squared away. I think I was somewhere here. And again, look, guys, there's so much. I try to get to as many of these questions as possible. But if I miss it, I'm so sorry. And trust me, it is not a slight. It is just like drinking out of a fire hose over here. As I've said before, all of the chats aggregate into this one chat scroll here. So every outlet that we're on right now that has a chat or comment feature is coming at me here. All right. So let's scroll down. Oh, look, we got trolls. Oh man, I ought to play her Facebook video. Yeah, which I have. It's fun. I had to get it sent over to the attorney, but I kept a copy. It's fun. That's what happens. You go do dirty things and you remove your videos. Just so happens that sometimes sharp, tech savvy people happen to just go ahead and grab those things before you can remove them. Fun. Okay, let's roll down through here. Yes, hey, Bobby's hitting it hard tonight, and he is reminding everyone on YouTube, hit like and subscribe and click the notification bell so you can get notified when we go live. Man, I have blasted through my hour, and it's just very difficult, man. You guys have been phenomenal tonight, and I think I'm out of time. I think I'm out of time. And there's so much more. There's so much more, so many more questions. I mean, look, here's, and just wonderful things. There's things about the Mexican border. There was, it's just, you guys are phenomenal. So, thank you so much. There's another super chat. Thank you. I can't thank you guys enough for the support that you have shown to the TNM and to me and to my weekly evening decompress, because you know what's going to happen as soon as I get off of here, right? You know what's going to happen. It's not like I'm going to bed. I'm going to work. This is kind of like my midday break. I get to come here, come to the break room, chat with everybody else, talk about how your day's going, how wonderful it is that we're on the cusp of winning Texas. And, it's just fun. This is just fun stuff. Okay, well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and wrap it up there, because I actually do have to go to work. If you hear those random dings in the background, that's work. That is our internal chat reminding me that I am supposed to be working on a ton of things. I missed my 9 o'clock, which is fine. But this is what we got to do. We got to work. And let us not forget what I said earlier, which is that there's a lot of road to go, but we're closer to the end than we are the beginning. And we just have to keep going. And I know that it's going to be hard for some people. A lot of us right now, a lot of folks out there that are supporting this are just kind of figuring out how they fit into making this happen. And it's causing a lot of people to develop some brand new skills. But let me tell you something. When I got involved 25 years ago, I knew very little. My background was not in this. I was not a public speaker. There were all the skills that I learned, that I know today, I pretty much had to learn for the purpose of advancing the cause of Texas independence. I learned those things because of this. And it forced me to do a lot of things I was not necessarily comfortable with. I had to break out of my comfort zone, but that's because the cause called for it. Because Texas is important. And saving Texas via Texas is important. And when things are important, you do the things necessary to prioritize those in the right way. Sometimes that means learning certain skills. Sometimes it means taking a pass on doing something I wanted to do versus something I had to do. But at the end of the day, this is all worth it, right? Because we're closer to the finish line than we are the start line. Right. I told a football analogy, I think, on the 25th, the 25th anniversary celebration, August 24th, 1996, it was like having the ball on on our own 1 yard line and having to fight for every inch of turf between here and the goal. Right. And that's fine. But folks, we've definitely crossed the 50-yard line, and we're not gaining ground by inches or feet anymore. We're gaining ground by yards, and we're chewing up the field, and we're getting so close to getting this done. But we don't give up until it is over. We don't give up. And frankly, folks, we don't even give up when it is over, right? That's when we celebrate. And that's when we shift into the mode to preserve what we have won. So let's go win. Then let's preserve what we've won. Let's savor our victory. So tonight, I will leave you with the words of Sam Houston. After Texas joined the Union, he said that Texas will again lift its head and stand among the nations. I believe that time is now. And the question is, will you stand with her? Good night, everyone.